Hi everyone, welcome to an introduction to personality development courses by Allegiance Educare powered by GCDA. With increasing stress and competition nowadays, mental health has been of great concern. Managing yourself could help you perform better in academics as well as in life. Not just scoring good in academics, but being presentable and good leadership skills could help you excel in many departments of life. Parents play a very important role in the child's development. Understanding all this, Allegiance Educare has come up with online courses on self management, emotional intelligence, parenting adolescent, and leadership skills. Let us go through a brief introduction of all these packages with our trainer, Ms. Kanakadurga, a senior psychologist who has more than 20 years' experience working with people from various cultures. She has worked with young adults and adolescents in New Zealand, helping them find suitable training programs and employment. For the last 8 years, she has been working in India as a mental health professional, helping individuals and families through various issues, including career guidance, personality development, relationship matters, parenting, anxiety, and stress related issues.
Self-management. Self-management is nothing but a little bit about yourself, getting better at what you already do. This involves a lot of introspection. Basically, while we are doing our day-to-day course, we do not take a lot of attention to what we are doing or how we are doing it. So, and self-management, like any other management, is also a skill and that can be learned. It is not inherent or like, that XYZ can get it better than you. So everybody has an opportunity or the ability to get better at what they're doing. So self-introduction, introspection would mean like, looking at your own habits. How do you sort of, the daily things that we really don't pay much attention to, or sometimes we pay attention, but we don't know how to get better. So for example, like, as a student, you know that you have to wake up at a certain time and sort of, do your things on a timely basis, but on a as you go, sometimes you fall behind, sometimes you don't really pay too much attention to it. So developing good and healthy habits, that's a very important aspect of self-management. Then managing your time, because we all have limited time in a day, and it's very easy to get strayed and sort of get carried away by what we are doing on a everyday basis. So managing time is very, very important because we don't have much of it. Then also setting goals, so that we are always checking ourselves to see whether we are meeting the goals as we set our goals. Setting goals which are achievable, setting goals which are reasonable, and setting goals that will motivate you to do further. So how do we do these things is an important aspect as well of self-management. And most importantly, how to handle stress and how to handle the anxieties that are have become more common than we used to know earlier. Okay, and day-to-day activities tend to cause a little bit of stress and anxieties, whether it is like whether you have an exam coming up or whether it's a relationship that you're not able to manage. So these things tend to cause a lot of anxiety and stress. And when stress and anxiety take over, your work gets affected very badly. So we need to learn how to manage these stress and anxieties as well. So all these things, like I said earlier, can be managed and they can be learned. We just need to understand small techniques and sort of, pick up better habits so that, we work on ourselves. So unless we know how to manage ourselves, we cannot really sort of accommodate ourselves in the larger society. Because as human beings, we are all social animals. We live in families. We work in small groups or big groups. So teamwork is very important, whether you're in school, whether you're in college or you're working. You are these days required to work in small teams to do your projects and things like that. So unless you know how to manage yourself, you cannot fit yourself in a bigger team. So moving forward, then comes your leadership skills. How do we become better leaders? Leaders does not actually mean that you are becoming the prime minister of the country, or you're like, getting into a political role or anything like that. It just means that we are becoming better at sort of, taking initiatives, getting better at, like, required. Okay. So leadership skills is all about extending yourself in a larger setting and the ability to lead a group. Leadership abilities can be improved and by getting better at some basic skills like communication skills. Your ability to communicate with others is what will determine whether you will be working properly in a team or not. Okay. So having good communication skills is one of the core essentials of becoming a good leader. Then if you have good communication skills, obviously your interpersonal relationships will get better, whether it is with your family, with your friends, with your workmates, wherever you're going. Your interpersonal skills are something that will determine your place in that group. Okay. And on a daily basis, we are negotiating with 100 things, whether it is you're negotiating with your parents that you want to go out for a party with your friends, whether you're negotiating with your friends for something. So we need to have a clear understanding of how to negotiate without sort of, so this includes a lot of your assertive skills as well. So you need to negotiate your way through in your life. So getting better at how to negotiate. It doesn't mean negotiation seems a lot like being very selfish. It is not. It is basically trying to get your place, and so that you're not hurting others as well. So you're negotiating so that you're not losing anything and the others are not losing in the bargain as well. Okay. So learning that as a skill is very important as well. Okay. Learning to manage conflicts. So we are bound to have conflicts when we are working with people, whether we work with your friends, family, your teachers, your colleagues, whoever it is. A conflict does not mean, again, in the negative sense. It could be disagreements. It could be something that doesn't suit you, that doesn't suit the other person. So what suits you may not suit the other person. But we need to manage this conflict so that we have a amicable working relationship. So how to manage those conflicts without losing out is another important skill. And this is an important skill for leaders, definitely. And the last but most important thing is how to interview. So here, when I talk about interview skills, I'm not talking just about getting a job. I'm talking about interviewing or asking questions so that, you get the right answers, or you sort of, it's like what you call that, a skill that is important so that you get the right information from the other person. Okay. Unless you ask the right question, you're not going to get the right information. So it's a skill that you need to develop as a young leader, or it's part of your leadership skills. Will concentrate a lot on your intellectual quotient. That's called the IQ. But equally important in today's world, or it has always been, is your emotional intelligence. There was a lot of research done during the COVID time, and people who were very intellectually capable also failed miserably during the COVID time because it was a new challenge. People were not equipped, or people were not emotionally strong enough to deal with the situation. So in this research, people have found out that having a strong emotion or emotional intelligence is equally important as having good intelligence. Okay. So emotional intelligence will help you in dealing with your relationships, your interpersonal relations that you, which is required to, in a society. Okay, so it helps you to deal with your emotions, especially when you are in an adverse situation, because, in a happy situation, it is easy to deal with your emotion. But it is a situation which is tough that will put you to the challenge. That is when your emotions need to be stable. It is that is the time when you need to come out as an emotionally strong person. So how do we develop that as a human being? Because sometimes we feel some person is very emotional, the other person is not that emotional. It is not, it is again a little bit inherent. However, it is something that you can learn to become a little bit more empathetic towards other person, about how other people feel, how other people perceive you. So these are important aspects of being an emotionally intelligent person. Okay. It also includes taking responsibility in a relationship, because many times we feel it's not my responsibility. Why am I responsible for XYZ's emotions? But in a relationship, we care for each other. That is why it becomes a relationship. Okay. So being emotionally a strong person um, uh, will be an added advantage to you as you grow up, and also as you deal with others in the society. Emotional intelligence also involves how to set boundaries in a relationship. Where do we stop? Where do we protect ourselves so that, we are not emotionally getting hurt? Where do we draw a line so that we are not hurting others as well? It is about setting expectations in a relationship and how to manage those expectations when other person does not meet your expectation. So having a strong emotional intelligence leads to becoming a wholesome person, which is very important. Okay. And then managing your successes may sound very easy, but it is actually not that easy. When you become very successful, there are a lot of stresses that you need to deal with. So it is important to learn how to manage your success as well as your failure, because in our day-to-day life, there are going to be some successes, there are going to be some failures. We need to understand how to deal with those. Okay. And also when there is success, when there is failure, there's bound to be peer pressure. So we need to know how to handle that peer pressure so that, it is not affecting us emotionally or intellectually. Okay. So we have to learn to deal with our success and failures equally. Now, another important aspect that we need to sort of focus on is how to deal with adolescents, because, India is a country where the large population is a young population. And the young population in today's India are facing many more challenges than we actually understand many times. As parents, as teachers, as mentors, we need to understand how to deal with an adolescent and how to make them a successful and a empathetic individual as they progress in life. Okay. Adolescent years are very difficult, not just for the adolescent, but also for the parents, for the teachers, for the family members who are dealing with them or who are helping them grow up. Okay. Because we want mature, responsible, empathetic individuals in as our citizens, as our because you are the future, or they are the future of the country, of any country for that matter. And adolescent age, that is the teenage, as you all know, is between the 13 and 19 years of age, when a lot of change happens in the persons or the individuals, physical aspects, mental aspects, sexual aspects, their relationship aspects. So many changes are happening. It is very difficult for the young person to really deal with those things, understand what is happening with them, understand the external world, and how to fit themselves in that external world when they are changing or evolving. So it is important that people who are raising children of that age understand these issues, understand what their needs are, and help them through these difficult years. So that, and it requires a lot of patience. It's not easy to raise an adolescent, because at that time there are a lot of conflicts that come across within the family, with the teachers, with the others around them. We see a lot of peer pressure that the adolescent is going through. So we need to understand what those pressures are. And we must realize that growing up in today's day and age of technology is not as simple as it used to be at some point of time. We can neither blame the adolescent nor the technology. We have to coexist with each other, and we need to know how to sort of, have a friendly and good way of growing up and evolving as human beings. So,
All these courses will help you in the betterment of finding success and confidence in your career and life. All the packages are just rupees 3499, economical in pricing, and 2 weekends total 4 hours. Please do get in touch to enroll. Thank you.